Sunday politics. Let's talk about politics of war. Here we have a professor at the Colombia University. His name is Jeffrey Sachs. No, Sachs or Sachs. Sachs probably not right. Sachs maybe better. At the Democracy Now, talking about the at the Democracy Now channel, talking about the World War, how bad is the Anglo-Saxon world is, and kind of denying himself that he's a white guy. So people like to play about race in this world and denying the white race achievement, which I'm not talking about how good is the white races. I'm talking about in general all races are good. So not only white people that have the superior race, although they might have the most money in the world, the most innovation in the world, but they're not alone, because without the other races in the world, they're not going to achieve this far. So it's all about a cooperation. It's all about coordination and empowering each other races, or raceless basically, but more on ingenuity of the thinking process. Or anyway, excuse me, this Jeffrey Sachs is talking about how the world war was conducted in a wrong way, because they're not put diplomacy as the center stage, which I strongly disagree. Now, how he's supposed to have a diplomacy with Russia, or how he's supposed to have a diplomacy with China? I mean, the only diplomacy is gonna work when everything is supporting it. So diplomacy, it's not stand by itself per se. So diplomacy has to have leverage. What leverage can it get before going into diplomacy? You have to have something to offer. You have to have something that force somebody to come to a diplomacy table. So diplomacy has to have a need, not like out of curiosity people want to have diplomacy. I mean, friendship is good. Talking about love is good. Love among countries is good. Coordination, cooperation among countries is good. That could be a base for diplomacy. But how could you have a diplomacy with China or with Russia right now without any leverage? So basically, he believed that only diplomacy will achieve the peace in Ukraine or any part of the world. And that kind of a belief or thought could mislead. The reason is, then why we need armed forces? Then why we need intelligence and stuff like that? So in a country, according to him, to be more extreme, more absolute, Jeffrey Sachs from Columbia University, or maybe the Columbia University, believe, as he represented, is only needed a diplomacy people, a diplomat, a bunch of diplomats should be sufficient to solve the whole world problem, which is wrong. It's laughable, because before you come to diplomacy, let's say Taiwan or Ukraine, two small countries against Goliath, which is China or Russia. How do they win, or how do they um, force Russia or China come to a diplomacy and foster some peaceful deals? The easiest way is that show of force, something that Russia or China afraid of the small countries like Taiwan or like Ukraine. They have to have something leverage. Let's say Taiwan or Ukraine has smart people that the Russian or Chinese need. They need it so badly, so they have to take care of them. Or Taiwanese and Russian are, besides intelligence, they're also rich. That Chinese or Russian needs them to invest. They will come to a diplomacy because it's mutual needs. Or Taiwan and Ukraine are like a Halloween, like a ghost. They Chinese and Russia afraid of them, like seeing a ghost, because they're so powerful, because they have so many intelligent people or spy that went through all the rank and file in Russia or in China. They have a lot of powerful influence. So then they're afraid. Or Ukraine and Taiwan has some kind of a mistress for Putin or Xi Jinping, that they which is afraid not to have the mistress. Or another way, Ukraine and Taiwan has a powerful armed forces. They have a smart war scenarios. Everything is designed in 5G smart war that knows all the movement of the enemies, that knows how to take one by one of the enemy weapon, like the nuclear, like the SAM or Iskander, or any ground missiles that they can launch anytime to destroy the city. So how to achieve that is that they have to show power that ready to take down each one of them at the border first. Secondly, they have somebody inside the nuclear launchers in Russia or in China as a spy that can disrupt it, or they can hack. Basically, by doing hacking it's good enough. So that way it will deter them from attacking. So if they cannot attack and everything they do is failure from the inside, how would that gonna be? How would that gonna be? It will be a disaster. It will be so embarrassing. It will be a catastrophic failure. In this case, like if we have to calculate how much is a spy, how much it costs to hack a Russian nuclear power, or how much it costs to get a professional spy to disrupt the nuclear launchers in Russia or in China, compared to all the military might they need to buy. Like right now, Taiwan just bought $1 billion worth of military equipment to be prepared against China. So how much it costs to buy a spy that can disrupt Chinese nuclear power or nuclear launchers, or a nuclear that can self-destruct in China or in Russia, so that they will be terrified to have a nuclear weapon. So I guess this might be a better than Jeffrey Sachs a recipe to force those power into a diplomacy. Because diplomacy is nice when you have both parties in the same power level of power, or at least one have power over the other, so they can force it. But will Russia or China will be willing to initiate a diplomacy? It seems impossible unless they have some kind of disruption in China or disruption in Russia to their nuclear launchers pad that it just launch by itself and destroy itself without going over to Russia, to Ukraine or Taiwan. So that's what they need, I guess. Or the military might on the border, they're ready to take down each one of them. So another way is to create chaos inside the China or inside the Russia, so that way they will only be so busy taking care of the chaos domestically, so they will never think of attacking the other country. All right, that's world-class war strategy from Ivan.